Yes, my people, welcome to Numbers Don't Lie, powered by Sofascore. Of course, you know for the next hour, we're going to be driving you through the biggest footballing conversations around the world. And I know, they always turn around and talk about these narratives, right? And how do you back it? Well, the only way we back it here on Numbers Don't Lie, with stats, facts to back up all of the chat. I'm your host, JayDee Dyer, and I know the footballing world is very, very decisive, right? In terms of the conversations that's around the world. And nobody's a bigger topic than this guy right here. Vinicius Jr, Vini Jr, the number 7 that reps Brazil, and of course the Real Madrid Galactico. So many people have the question mark around him. Is he still elite? Well, I'll tell you who I know is definitely elite, since we're going to be diving into these football discussions. An international footballer in his own right, a Wake Forest legend, and my brother from another. Michael Lahoud, let's roll, baby.
What's up,
Are you ready for Numbers Don't Lie?
Man, thanks for having me in. I'm born ready.
Oh, I like this. I like this. You know what I like about Mike? His first touch is always ready. So I'm going to give you the first touch straight away. You see the conversation, you see it opening up from the jump. Vini Jr, is he still the elite footballer that was once second in the Ballon d'Or and, of course, was on the mouths of everybody as one of the best players in the world?
He's back, and he's on his way to getting back to those levels, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are at home thinking, what's this guy on? I'm about to show you, because a good Vini is an even better Real Madrid, and we're going to see it more this season.
Ooh, Mike, you start off with some flames. Okay, take me through it then.
Yeah.
You break it down for me.
Look, 23, 24, I mean, this guy was robbed of the Ballon d'Or, and when you look at the 24 goals, that's the biggest one, right? Of those 24 goals, it's all about the Champions League when it comes to this badge and this man. He had 6 goal contributions in the knockout round, which was the most in the campaign, and him, Jude, that combination, Batman, Robin, cooked to put the star on the badge and Vini into another stratosphere. The minutes per goal, that's insane, especially in the back half of the season. It felt like every single time, every big match, he was banging in goals, the shots, but the biggest thing is a Sofascore rating. I thought that would be a bit higher. I think the slower start to the season for him, I'll give him a bit more than that with the benefit of the doubt, given the better finish at the end of the season.
I like it. You know what? When you think and reflect upon this season, it's incredible. You look at the goal conversion. He was phenomenal this year. I mean, the big chances created, the touches in the box, especially the goal contribution. It felt like you were getting the best version of Vini Jr. But I'm going to ask you the question again, and it's going to be a common theme throughout this. So is this player elite right now when you see the way that he ranks up against other wingers in the top 5 leagues?
I mean, he's definitely well in the conversation, and this isn't top 5 leagues, but when it comes to the biggest games and the biggest competitions, that is where you judge Vinicius Jr. The big thing that sticks out to me is when Vini Jr. has the most touches in the box on his team, that is when you get the most out of him. Him going 1v1, dribbling at players, that was a big reason why Real Madrid had success, was Jude would play him into space, and then it was the Vini show. He was playing centrally at different times, but when he gets in that left pocket of space, the left channel, that's when he cooks and good things happen.
You know what? You said something at the top of this show. You said he was robbed of a Ballon d'Or, right? So I want to compare those numbers. That year where he, of course, made the infamous tweet, which we need to turn around and say, and you know what's so funny? I love this. Auto translated from Portuguese. So he can't claim that it wasn't me. I didn't say this was taken out of context. It's only 2 sentences. But when you look back on this tweet, how do you reflect on the way Vini Jr. astounded himself to the world and said that he was going to come back in terms of his redemption tour?
There's a few times in your life when you want to go Control, Alt, Delete, Delete, Delete. And look, I think that after that tweet, he didn't do 10 times better. He got 10 times worse. Because when you look at the numbers, and the numbers never lie in football, it really shows prior to that Ballon d'Or tweet, the minutes per goal, that's the biggest thing that dropped off. And that tells me that's a player in the final third that's lacking confidence. And it really shows more in the numbers. The goal conversions, prior to that Ballon d'Or snub, he had 12 goals that he scored, which is the best start to a season in a campaign he's ever had in his career. So this guy's thinking, I'm going to get the biggest prize in world football, then the domino effect. And yes, JD, we're going back to touches in the box per game. Less touches, worse Vini.
With less touches, worse Vini. Okay, so now I'm going to bring you back down because I want to make sure Lahoud gets his moment in the focus. So looking at today, looking at these numbers, looking at the start to this season, is Vini Jr., looking at the first 10 games, is he still elite in your mind, Mike?
He still is, man. He still is. Mind you, the big caveat that you have to think about is he's had to change how he plays, right? Him getting back some minute per goals tells me that a player that's had to come off the bench and still answer his manager, new manager at that, and Xabi Alonso, he's still got the character that we've seen 2 seasons ago that we didn't see enough of last season. And the goal conversions, that is back to that elite level when he was in the Ballon d'Or conversation. So you get those things back to the form that you had, that tells me that you're with the E word, elite in high company. And he has some work to still to do, right? Lamine Yamal, other players in that winger position, they're taking that baton and running with it. But Vini's gaining ground, gaining that sense of confidence. And when you go back to the match that Madrid got embarrassed at, who's one that showed up alongside Mbappe? Vini Jr. with the assist.
Oh, I'm going to keep pushing the button. I like this. I like the way you're going with this. Narrative and conversation is all a part of when we talk about here on Numbers Don't Lie. But the other part of his game, which sometimes doesn't always get recognized, is the way he contributes for others. Maybe that's why you're seeing a tactical tweak. So when you see his numbers, Mike, in terms of his assists, big chances created, the key passes, what do you feel that these stats show you?
It shows me that it's a Vini Jr. that's realizing that there's other players on the pitch apart from him. It's a player that's had to adapt, and it's either adapt or ship out when you play for his team. And the assists is mind-boggling because when he was in the Ballon d'Or conversation, it was Vini's job to score goals. Life after Karim Benzema was life with Vini, and it produced one of the best moments at Wembley for the team, right? And when you go to last season, a lot of these assists came at the start of the season, which also came with the goals. Now we go to big chances created. That's something that was slept on. And I think that conversation between him and the likes of Kylian Mbappe, it really impressed me with the key passes in the final third, right? This is the best thing I've seen from Vini, is that he's not just a goal scorer, he's also a creator, and that's the best in terms of key passes per game that we're seeing out of Vini, and that's why we're getting back to the best Vini.
Oh, I like this. Okay, so I'm going to ask you if we can switch gears real quick, right? Because when you talk about Vinicius Jr., as he's already announced for himself, he wants to be in the elite company. He wants to turn around and say times 10 of what he did in that Ballon d'Or year. So unfortunately, when you're one of the elites and the best, it isn't just about what you do for your club, but it's also important what you do for your country. And no shirt holds heavier weight in world football than this one. The gold and green, of course, of Brazil. Now, I want to discuss in terms of where he is, because we're not sitting here saying Vini's not an incredible player. We already know Vini's an incredible player. But when you put yourself into the elite company, these are the areas that I need to see you making an impact, especially in the final third. What's most interesting, and I know the nerds at home straight away thought of it, these are both under Ancelotti systems. This is the Real Madrid team that, of course, Vini thrived and shone in for so many years. And of course, the head coach of Brazil, as we now know, is Ancelotti. Hence why you might be seeing a resurgence. But the question was again, is he elite? And I have to hurt some people's hearts. And Brazilians, please don't come for me online. But right now, I have to consider that maybe Vini is not elite. And the only reason why I say so is because when I see you in these action areas here, it tells me that you are impacting the game. You're in the final third. You want to be, of course, doing everything that my brother was saying. Turning, driving, creating chances, committing players. But are you doing it with the conversion rate of the elites, as we said, right? Your Lamine Yamals, the players at the top end. And again, this is incredible. There is no two ways about it. Since June 2021, this guy has been sensational. The conversion rates, the minutes per goal, the Sofascore rating all speak for themselves. But then I bring you over to here, my friends. And this is where your value and your currency is really going to be tested. 29 games in a Brazil shirt, 6 goals? What over 300 minutes per goal? We're now creeping into a conversation where we start talking about the other question marks around Vini. The inconsistency when he has to wear the heavy shirts. When the responsibility is on you to be the best player on your team, to lead your team to the promised land. Oh, this is going to be an interesting 2026 for Vinicius Jr. because you can see the difference in a Real Madrid shirt and you can see the difference in a Brazil shirt. And I think it's starting to show. But one thing I will say though is, Mike, you spoke about it. I want to see touches in the box. This is what I'm talking about. We want to see touches in the box. And if you're not going to see touches in the box, unfortunately, you can't impact the game that we want to be seeing it. I'm now putting you in the conversation with the elite players in world football. And when you're not in those conversations and you're not doing what you need to be doing, I don't necessarily think that you can turn around and say that Vini is elite. This is under Carlo Ancelotti though. Before, we can already see the 39 games, of course, the 400 minutes, shots per goal speak for themselves, the big chance created, and the touches in the box. Now, under Carlo Ancelotti, who is a world-class manager. Let's not get that confused. The Don seems to get the best out of the players with the highest ego. he seems to be doing what he needs to be doing again. So are we starting to unravel back to Ballon d'Or Vini Jr? Are we starting to see all of the ducks aligning at the right time? Big chances, conversions, the touches in the box are massive, massive highlight points. And when we start identifying these things, Mike, I'm gonna bring you back to the same question again. Is Vini Jr. elite?
He's on his way again. And I'm going to say this, that we saw in that graphic before, the number 10 is the heaviest shirt you can wear, maybe next to the number 10 of Argentina in world football at the international level. What Carlo Ancelotti did, and it's a sign of a manager who knows his player, he gave him the number 10 jersey when they won against Paraguay. It was a massive win. It was his first win as a manager, and Vini got the match-winning moment, the match-winning goal. And so that was kind of the Kickstarter for him in terms of getting that swagger, getting that samba, getting that little But as you said and I said, pointed out, Vini getting more touches in the box. And we're seeing the domino effect. You go to the recent matches, right? The recent match against South Korea. Vini and Rodrigo, they're now combining. I mean, they're on the score sheet in terms of goals and assists. But the big thing for me, when you put it all together, is you get shots and you reduce the minutes per goal. Touches in the box, minutes per goals, and shots for Vini, that is back to elite levels.
I'm just gonna put it one more time, right? Because I know the Brazilians are gonna come for us in the comments. So we encourage it, bring it on. We wanna hear from you because the question mark still remains. Is Vinicius Jr. elite today, at this moment? And I'm gonna ask you one more time, Lahoud, before we throw to action, just one more time. Your answer to this question, so the people know where you stand.
I stand on it. I stand on this. You always say I stand on business. I stand on this. Vini is still elite, and he's going to show it because there's a big match coming up after the national break. El Clasico, he's going to stomp on Barcelona with the high line.
Oh my gosh, he's giving some big statements. We want to hear from you. You in the comments, please let us know in terms of whether or not you want to join the discussion. Is Vinicius Jr. still elite? And talking about players that I know are top of discussions all the time, we talk about world-class strikers. Ooh, Victor Osimhen does nothing but score goals. But why didn't he get picked up for any team in England? We discuss next on Numbers Don't Lie.